We live in the golden age of the body. We have optimized nutrition. We have sports science. We have air-conditioned arenas where we push our limits. We look back at the past, at the mud, the starvation, the primitive tools, and we feel pity. We assume that evolution means we are the peak, that we are faster, smarter, and stronger than what came before. But what if that assumption is a lie? What if the strongest person you know today, the Olympic champion, the elite powerlifter, would be considered sickly, fragile, and fundamentally broken by the standards of their ancestors? Today, we aren't just looking at history books. We are opening the autopsy files on humanity. We are going back 2,000, 10,000, even 40,000 years to uncover a terrifying truth that is etched into the very bones of the dead. We are going to find out just how much we have lost. And the answer might scare you. The lost times. Welcome to a stand. What we've lost, we have to redefine what strength actually means. Today, strength is specialized. You bench press for 30 seconds. Then you sit down and look at your phone for 3 minutes. It's impressive, but it's artificial. Ancient strength was functional durability. It was the ability to exert near maximal effort, not for seconds, but for days. If you failed, you didn't just miss a PR. You didn't eat. Or worse. Let's look at the Roman Legionary around 100 AD. We see the shiny armor in movies. We forget the grind. A legionary wasn't just a soldier. He was a pack mule. His standard marching kit, armor, weapons, rations, tools for construction weighed between 70 and 100 pounds. Imagine putting a 100-pound dumbbell in a backpack. Now march 20 miles. Do it in sandals. Do it on a dirt road. And when you arrive exhausted, you don't get to rest. You have to build a fortified camp before nightfall, chopping down trees and digging defensive ditches every single day. If you took a modern average male and subjected him to 1 week of a Roman Legionaries routine, he would likely suffer rhabdomyolysis, rapid breakdown of muscle tissue that shuts down the kidneys. For the Romans, it was just Tuesday. But military history is full of exaggerated stories, right? Generals love to make their troops sound superhuman. So, let's ignore the stories. Let's look at the only thing that cannot lie.
The bones.
Your bones are not dead rocks inside your body. They are alive. They react to stress. This is called Wolff's Law. If you put immense pressure on a bone repeatedly, it gets thicker, denser, and changes shape to support the load. A few years ago, researchers at Cambridge University decided to test the strength of women throughout history. They scanned the arm bones of modern, elite athletes specifically. The Cambridge women's rowing team. These are women training twice a day, intensely. Then they compared them to the skeletons of ordinary peasant women from the Neolithic era early. Farmers from about 7,0 year The results were humiliating for the modern era. The average prehistoric peasant woman had arm bones that were 11% to 16% stronger than the elite modern rowers. Why? Because before machines, bread didn't come from a store. To make flour, these women spent up to 5 hours a day, every single day, kneeling and grinding grain against stone. It was the equivalent of doing a high resistance rowing machine for 5 hours straight. These weren't athletes. They were just moms trying to feed their kids. Their baseline existence required elite-level power. We see this functional power echoed later in history, too. This is the Husafell stone in Iceland. It weighs roughly 418 pounds, 190 kilograms. It's smooth, slippery, and incredibly awkward to grip. Today, world-class strongmen travel to Iceland just to try and lift it. Many fail. But 300 years ago, this stone wasn't a sporting event. It was a job interview. To become a crew member on certain fishing boats, you had to lift this stone and carry it around a sheep pen about 50 meters. Think about that. 400 plus pound awkward carry was the minimum entry requirement for a manual labor job. If you couldn't do it, you were considered too much of a liability to pull nets in a storm. When we move from laborers to warriors, the physiological demands become grotesque. Let's talk about the English longbow. Cinema has lied to you about archery. You don't just casually pull back a warbow string. A medieval warbow had a draw weight of roughly 100 to perhaps 180 pounds. That means to pull the string to your ear, you need to exert 150 pounds of force with 3 fingers and hold it steady while people are trying to kill you. Try lifting a full-grown human with just your fingertips. Now do it 50 times in an hour. This level of force didn't just build muscle. It deformed them. When the warship Mary Rose was raised from the sea, archaeologists found the skeletons of elite archers. They were easy to identify because they were lopsided. The constant, immense pressure of drawing the bow had caused the bones in their left shoulders, the bow arm and right elbows to thicken intensely. Their spines were often twisted. They had essentially warped their own skeletons to become human artillery. They were, functionally, mutants created by their trade. But if you really want to see the peak of raw human power, we have to go back further. Before Rome, before agriculture, to a cousin we used to mock, the Neanderthal. For decades, we pictured them as slow, stupid cavemen. Science now knows they were the apex predators of the Ice Age. Biologically, they were tanks. Their bones were significantly thicker than ours. Their muscle attachment points suggest power we can barely comprehend. A Neanderthal could likely crush a modern strongman's hand in a casual handshake. But it's how they used that strength that is terrifying. We hunted with projectile weapons from a safe distance. Neanderthals didn't. Their spears were heavy. designed for thrusting, not throwing. That means their hunting strategy involved walking up to a multi-ton, angry prehistoric beast, looking it in the eye, and stabbing it to death at close range. When anthropologists analyzed the fracture patterns of Neanderthal skeletons, the ways their bones broke, during their lives they found a shockingly high number of head and neck injuries. They ran these patterns through a database of modern injuries to find a match. Who today gets beaten up like a Neanderthal? Rodeo riders. The only modern comparison for the daily life of a Neanderthal is wrestling a 2,000-pound bull, and the Neanderthals did it to eat, and they survived it, healed, and did it again. So what happened? Did our genes change? Did we lose the DNA for strength? No, our skeletons are genetically identical to those Roman legionaries and Neolithic farmers. We didn't change. Our world did. We are victims of our own success. We used our intelligence to invent ways to avoid physical exertion. We invented the wheel so we didn't have to carry. We invented agriculture so we didn't have to hunt. We invented the sofa so we didn't have to stand. We call this progress. But your body calls it a signal to atrophy. The human body is incredibly efficient. It will not maintain expensive muscle tissue if it doesn't need it to survive. If you stop demanding Titan-level strength from your body stops supplying it. We have become a self-domesticated species. Like wolves turning into pugs, we have traded durability for comfort. Those ancient humans weren't trying to be strong. They weren't working out. Their immense power was simply a side effect of staying alive in a world that was trying to kill them every single day. They lived under a constant, crushing load that we have civilized out of existence. But the potential is still there, buried deep in your DNA. The code to build a Roman Legionary or a Neolithic grinder still exists. We see glimpses of it in elite athletes, or in regular people pushed to extremes in survival situations. The ghost of that ancient strength is still haunting our machinery. So, the next time you feel proud of a workout, or tired after a long day at the office, remember the lost titans. Remember that your maximum effort was likely their warm-up. We may be smarter. We may live longer. But we stand on the shoulders of giants whose physical reality we can no longer even comprehend. If this dive into the past changed how you see the present, hit that subscribe button. We are going to keep digging up the truths that history books try to hide. Thanks for watching.